but now they're starting to gain that momentum through the elimination bracket, and I think they're going to be ready for Oxygen here.
Yeah, two very different stories coming into this match, without a doubt. Oxygen Esports, certainly the underdog, not just in this match, but also in their bracket. They've shown up in a big way. Pioneers, though, you heard Walshy say it, maybe it's a matter of taking one step back, in order to take 2 steps forward overall this weekend, and certainly in the final 3 events of the season. It will be Pioneers versus Oxygen in the elimination bracket. This is go hard or go home here for top 8 and pool play guarantees in Orlando. So much riding on this match.
And as we know, pool play guarantees are massive, especially with Worlds coming up afterwards. So every single point that's going to be picked up by these teams at this point in the season is going to help them on their way towards Worlds. And now we can see we're already underway. We're on Recharge. We've got a little bit of ball involved as well. So we're going to have Oddball to kick things off as we see Nemassist from Oxygen Esports. He's got the power up. He's got the camo.
It's a momentary 1v1 there. 3 dead for both sides. So really strong openings, honestly, on both sides of the stage across the board there to get 3 dead. Each, it was a momentary Nem versus Taulek 1v1. Nem will stay alive here with the camo once he stares.
BoamX picking up 2 as well to clear the way for him to make his move. Last 2 players from Pioneers are going to be trapped over at blue, and I like this play from Nemassist actually, deciding not to engage with them. Leave them there, let the spawns come in, because that ball is already back at gold pipes here for Oxygen Esports. It's a great decision to let those players push up, then come on the flank.
And as you heard on the desk, what an opportunity for the side of Oxygen Esports, right? Pioneers with a nice little ticks from them. Going to get a little bit extra here, damage on Taulek as well, off of those shots, as he will chain that damage, now flying through batteries as well. But like we said, what a big opportunity for Oxygen Esports here. They did not expect to find themselves against it. Wow, like Pioneers double kill for Nemassist. He's not done yet. Laying down so much damage for his squad, but a big opportunity for them. And for Pioneers, not a place that they expected to be at this point in the bracket. A team that has been right on the cusp of top 4, now finding themselves on the verge of elimination and maybe a top 12 exit.
I mean, Nemassist is playing this beautifully at the moment. It's a killing spree for him, but hasn't turned into any kind of established setup at the moment. Taulek's going to fly in on trying to clean that one up with the grapple, but a 16-9 lead here at the start for Pioneers. And to go back to your point, Andy, I think you're right. They made this team change in the hopes of breaking through the barrier that has been that top 4 Pioneers. It's been a slow start, as we know with any team change. It takes a bit of time to find some rhythm, to go over a few things. This super has kind of been thrown at these teams extremely quickly after these team changes have finally been established. But Pioneers now starting this game off well and certainly starting to build as this tournament and as the game start to flow.
Certainly, I think Pioneers is also going to be okay with if this is a 1 step back for a 2 to 3 steps forward, even over the course of the weekend.
Totally agree.
Yeah, they've got no problem with that, right? They're looking here on the long term as well, especially if it can result in something big for Orlando and Worlds, but they want to also make a statement here before we get there. Nick trying to play slow and very nice timing and shots against Nemassist to stay alive with the camo, now 52-9 in favor of Pioneers.
This is a great hold here from Pioneers. This has been just continual ball time at the elevator south, and it's all been based off of Nick and what he's been doing. A couple of plays with the camo to get that first shot advantage, teammates moving in to clean up some damage, and then as soon as the pressure gets felt, it looks like Druk is going to be backing up now and trying to get that ball played. Unfortunately, even though he threw it out the door and got it down to that pit, there was a flanker coming in, and that's going to be common. He manages to scoop that one back in towards the elevator, but here is SoulSnipe, Mr. SoulSnipe, we should say, as he comes in and cleans house and should be able to pick that Oddball back up and re-establish this elevator cell.
That's right, that's Mr. SoulSnipe to you. A nice win in World Pool for him, and he'll get the back elevator and try to help his team lock down this area. Will be 2 dead for Oxygen for the moment. Nem doing well to even those tides, though. 2 dead for each side. He'll get away with the shock as well.
As long as Pioneers keep trading, though, there's no real opportunity to pick up that ball and get any significant time. Nemassist is going to be flying in with the shock rifle. Druk will pick up one, though. And Druk is being such a nuisance to deal with here. Finally, will get eliminated by that grenade. Nemassist playing extremely well at the start of this game. He's sat at 9-4. He's got the shock rifle in his hands as well. But we need to see a little bit more from the rest of this lineup. You're looking across the stats. Nobody else matching Nemassist in the stats category.
Yeah, tied for most kills and also tied for least deaths across 2 separate players. So like you say, very good numbers from him. Lots of time left in this match. It might be 60-12 here in favor of the Pioneers, but Oxygen knows if they start to put the pieces together, they can rally back in this round.
Difficulty here for Oxygen is, even though they've got a couple of kills, they know the last 2 players alive, or soon I say the last player alive, is going to be SoulSnipe, and he's around that gold battery. So now that they've eliminated him, that meant the stagger would come in. They weren't going to be able to grab that ball without feeling any pressure. For now, Triton's going to be moving through to try and secure this position and maybe think about grappling that ball back or Unfortunately, he doesn't have the grapple to play with, so for now, it's just about slaying and keeping Pioneers off.
Nice job here, combo from Triton, up top gold player, of course, coming from that complexity roster for most of the season, now finding himself on Oxygen and finding some success so far this weekend, but can they keep it going in the elimination bracket? That is the question. One dead here for each side.
Well, the slays are falling in the favor of Oxygen, but they can't get that ball at the moment. Taulek's got the shock rifle, he's dealing damage. Picks up one onto Triton as well. Nemassist trying to hunt him down, but look how elusive Taulek is being. He's got that grapple, he's just whipping around the map at the moment. He gets the remote detonation help from SoulSnipe as well, and that means Taulek can survive. That means Druk can grab the ball, and that means BoamX has got work to do, some heavy lifting, if they want to stop this rotate.
Great back and forth between these teams. SoulSnipe, last player alive once again. We got to give him credit on the last one. He was last player alive on Bat Ledge, and he stopped the ball hold completely. This time, though, he's just going to wait for teammates.
Well, BoamX has fallen, and that means that Triton at least is in a position to play this ball off the back of the map. SoulSnipe is weak on the double stacks. Nice little bit of listening and prioritization. As Nick is now putting pressure on, but as you can see, 101s of Oddball. 101s of Oddball. If you are in a position where you have any doubt whatsoever that push is going to come in and you're going to get taken down, you got to get that ball off the map.
Ball was not played, as you say. It was great comms early on as he gets the kill down bottom repulsor tunnel, but everything broke down just a little bit on a perfect two-man push coming in with pressure coming into the Hydro as well as Nick on sneaky ledge. That will lead to more Pioneers control in the back of the base, only 10 points away.
Taulek the turret. Swinging left, swinging right, and hitting bodies left, right, and center. For now, though, it's going to be a play ball with only 4 seconds left, or 4 points left, for Pioneers to close out this first round. With Oxygen Esports spawning and having to push on the blue side of the map as well, they can just take their time on this one, Andy. No pressure for them to make any desperate plays.
Very nice peek shooting there from SoulSnipe once again. Third time in a row, he's the last player alive. Ball is grabbed by Druk off of that damage, and they will close out the round very comfortably. Pioneers going the lead.
Pioneers looking comfortable. I think that's the one thing to take away from that round, right? It never really felt like the round was out of their control. They were on the back foot. They were slaying for the majority of it, having got that very, very strong elevator hold right at the start of that first round of Oddball. But for now, the scores will be reset, as will the kills and as will the damage as we move into round 2 now. And Oxygen Esports know to show me a little bit more here. Nemassist had a great first round, especially the start of that round, but apart from that, it just seemed like they weren't really able to control areas of the map efficiently as a squad.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because at the end of that round, we saw 3 times in a row, as we said, where SoulSnipe was the last player alive. So credit to Oxygen for getting those slays, but they let SoulSnipe make huge game-changing plays time and time again, whether he was the last player alive getting a kill or just waiting for his teammates. They never got 4 dead over the last few minutes of the game, and it really ended the round very quickly. We'll have to see if they can bounce back in round number 2.
Once again, Nemassist is slaying everything. Nick's going to be doing some damage on the pizza corner, or hell, depending on the call out that you prefer. And Nick is going to back up smartly, as Nemassist is also going to smartly wait for the shields and the help to come in now on the pipes. It's an advantage in numbers here for Oxygen Esports, but you can see they've got to deal with a couple more numbers. A repulsor in the hands of Taulek. Decides not to use it. Druk's going to fly back in, and Druk is going to pick up a double kill as SoulSnipe grabs another. Common last alive now. Druk with the shock rifle and also the grapple. Ball points going to be going to Pioneers.
Very nice stop here from Druk. Not easy to do that. Top goal. Going to also just a little bit of a throw tape there. Going to lock down everything at pipes. Shock rifle in hand. You knew as soon as... Oh boy, of course he's going to hit that on Triton as well. He's not done yet. He knows the Common snuck through. He's ready for the push. He's wise to it, but Common able to get that kill. Teammates are down though, so Pioneers will continue scoring here, just at the 20-point mark.
And that throw take, like you see, it's something we're seeing more and more, right? Throw that ball towards the teammate who's closest to that safe place, then go back, fill in that little area because you're the closest to it in that setup. Especially if you've got that shock rifle, you can really do damage and just cover the angles as quickly as possible to make sure there's no holes in that setup. However, no holes to be found right now for Pioneers, as they don't have any pressure onto SoulSnipe at the moment. The camo has just popped as well, so you can see that all the battle going down mid-map, and SoulSnipe is just holding that Oddball in his hands. Luckily, he's got the oven gloves on because that thing is looking hot.
It certainly is, and Taulek's going to stay alive. Zip right back to help out. Actually, as he had low shields, he's going to grab the ball. That's a great swap. Common now, camo in hand, though, with 1 dead for each side. Maybe a chance to get a little bit more control.
Triton going to be pushing first as well. SoulSnipe gets the kill with the sword though, but that's going to turn it over now. Too common, and it looks like Pioneers are trying to bait that objective. Taulek is going to scarp her away and survive for now. Nemassist has got that shock rifle, so now this is where they need to get the ball in their hands. Even if you've got camo, even if you've got shock, get objective time in your hands because you have every single tool to play with.
Very nice job here. One for Common, but he only gets one. It's a good job by the Pioneers to force the trade and only let the sword carrier get one. Oh boy, SoulSnipe wants blood. Not going to get it though. It's a bull true for Nemassist.
Nemassist looking for more as well. Taulek gets his 1v1 win. Triton should be able to clean it up on the flank. Another opportunity for a kill here, and this is an opportunity now for Oxygen to put points on the board. They have the kills. Where's the ball? It's still down in elevator. 3-4 as SoulSnipe comes off respawn as well. So Oxygen Esports now can do what Pioneers did to them and try and bring this game a little bit closer.
Here comes the rotate attempt. Not going to be easy because Taulek has the long haul pressure. They need the kill here before they get the hold. SoulSnipe again.
SoulSnipe makes the break. As you say, gets that first kill damage. Triton going to be able to exchange it, but there's no trade there for Triton as well as Druk flies in. Common with 2, though, means that once again, Pioneers find themselves 3 dead. Taulek is last alive just for a few seconds, though, because 3 kills in a row means a beautiful purple medal popping up. It's a triple for Common, and this should be time here for Oxygen.
Very nice work from him. See if he can lock down the angles. Damage onto Nick. The kill will not come in. Assist does, though. That's the first time for a while that we've seen them get the first kill, but like you're pointing at the screen, I'm thinking the same thing. Not a lot of ball time resulting.
Just get the ball in your hands, boys. Pick up the ball. You've got a 3 dead, a 4 dead situation. You just did it again, and you've only got 26 points on the board. Sometimes you need to be happy just to, think about holding that ball, move it towards spawning teammates, throw it towards them, and then look to re-engage in that battle. For now, though, they've got everything again to succeed. This time it's Triton who has the camouflage. He's got help as well, as SoulSnipe does good damage, but he gets taken down and isolated. Pioneers consistently pushing and putting that pressure on as Nick now forces his way through pipes, and BoamX is going to be eliminated. SoulSnipe comes in. Oxygen fall apart a little bit with that set.
I have been so impressed with SoulSnipe in this game. Not everything he's done, actually little of what he's done, has been reflected in the stat line because he has been push after push, doing exactly what he needs to do for his team. Now he's holding the ball. They will cross the 60-point mark as well.
Nick's got the shock as well, so he's just going to be damaging players who try and push off the respawn. There's only 2 alive at the moment. Triton and Common having to stack up and do what they can do, wait for what might be a final push opportunity here. Nick is holding down the pipes, Triton's trying to push. A couple of frag grenades aren't going to do the damage here for Nick, but backing down means he can survive and wait for those shields to come back in. Pioneers, what a hold this is, Andy. Oxygen have no response.
No response at all. Nick somehow staying alive, just being so obnoxious. Eventually he'll get taken down, but it's 2 dead for Oxygen. So Pioneers continuing to lay down the damage. They might even get these slays too.
I think they will. SoulSnipe, again, the man you highlighted, gets 2. He's got the shock as well, looking for those spawns over at A, but instead he's just going to say, do you know what? I'm sliding towards you. I got a shock rifle. I'm also not missing. SoulSnipe with a double, cleaning house here on Recharge.
What a start to the series for the Pioneers, and specifically SoulSnipe, 26 and 17 in that game. He was a human highlight reel. They will take game number 1.
And do it in some style as well, and do it in an efficient way, which is the most important thing here for Pioneers, right? Every single time there was an opportunity at 2 dead, they had that ball back to a setup. The holds were good, the breaks were good. Everything you want to see from this Pioneers lineup starting to come together here. SoulSnipe, though, you highlighted him quite rightly. Probably the least talked about player on the KCP lineup, and with the new player coming in, SoulSnipe has decided it's time for me to stand up as a player. 26 and 17 for him, and not only that, 10 assists as well.
And finally, we see the stats kind of actually reflect the damage that he was doing. For a lot of that game, he was only positive 2 or 3, yet, once again, being the last player alive, denying ball holds, waiting perfectly for his team, and once they spawn, he will then get the break again. In the end, he also goes positive 9 with 10 assists, a 12.3 KDA. And that will lead to an overall Game 1 victory for the Pioneers.
Also had a decent amount of ball time as well. I think he had about 30 or 40 seconds. So we'll take a look at the damage, and, well, no real surprise to see SoulSnipe at the top of the leaderboards for Pioneers. Common, decent amount of damage from him and Nemassist as well, but the one outlier really for me, you're looking down at BoamX at the bottom there, taking a lot of damage, not dealing a huge amount himself, but I think the holds were very impressive. The rotations were very impressive, but there's just little moments for Oxygen I think they'll want back. That play ball opportunity, little things like that, they can just deflate you so quickly as a team, knowing He's throwing that ball into the back of Recharge, into the depths. Maybe we've got a chance to elongate that round. Maybe we can get a hold together. Instead, you give it to Pioneers and they win the round.
Yeah, take a look at some highlights here from that game. And it was a fantastic game number one, but certainly a better game number one from the side of the Pioneers. Both rounds went to them pretty comfortably. Here was that moment you talked about where that push just came in perfectly from Nick on the sneaky ledge and letting Druk get into back of Hydro and denying the play ball opportunity. And there's a lot of SoulSnipe on your screen here, unsurprisingly.
I think one thing that impressed me as well was there was an element of kind of self-control in that game from Pioneers, which we always talk about how Pioneers love to play the game fast, love to be aggressive. And we all kind of discuss it. What's Nick going to bring to this team before the tournament got underway? Team with Rhino. We heard it from Spartan, right? On FaZe, former E United teamed with Rhino, saying he likes to play with structure. He likes to play the game quite slowly. You add a player like Nick, who's been alongside Rhino and would have learned so much. The perfect element to mix in with Pioneers to get that pacing a little bit more, you know, in the right places at the right time in certain games. It might take a while for them to adjust, but you've just seen it in full effect there.
How about back-to-back doubles for SoulSnipe to close it out as well? I mean, we're talking about a little victory lap there at the end. I do want to highlight more about Nick, like you said. Not only does he get 20 kills in that game, he also gets 6,300 damage just behind SoulSnipe. Big damage numbers from the newcomer, Nick, to the roster. As you see, 2-0 win here for Pioneers on your screen on Oddball Recharge. Next up, Slayer on Catalyst for game number 2.
We'll have to see if Oxygen can answer back. Slayer Catalyst probably the best opportunity to do so as an underdog team, if you like, coming into a series like this. We know how it can be a little bit unpredictable with some of the spawns. If you can hit a couple of shots with that the big gun as well, you're going to certainly do some damage. That skewer really can change the momentum, but Pioneers, I like what I saw from them there. The element of self-control, I think, is something which is needed for a lot of the time, because Pioneers can run through teams in that top 8, top 12 region. They have the individual ability and that natural coordination, natural chemistry, but if you want to beat some of the best in the world, you need to know when to go, but you also need to know when to stop.
Certainly, I think because it just happened to be SoulSnipe being the last player alive time after time, or your first spawner, great decision-making and play calling from the whole team to know exactly when to go and when to not go was on display in that game number 1, and when they needed to wait. For example, if it was an elevator hold and SoulSnipe was top control, he wasn't going. He's waiting for teammates, and then he's going across mid-bridge and getting the break. Other times where he's on bad ledge, he's able to stop the team from grabbing the ball entirely as the last player alive. So if you're on Oxygen, you need to have a little bit better game management of where's that last player, right? How fast do we collapse on them, or at least get enough angles on that last player where they're not impeding our entire strategy?
Yeah, just find out where he is, deal a little bit of damage, and then know that there's going to be 2 or 3 probably in 5-6 seconds time, which then you're trying to lock down those angles, right? Get initial damage, especially in a game like Oddball, where you're just trying to buy time, essentially, for your objective carrier to just rack up some points. You don't have to guarantee the kills. You just have to stop them getting near that objective. Whereas now we are all about the kills here as we head towards Slayer Catalyst. And Pioneers, I think that kind of a game and that kind of a performance against a team in a game number 1, it kind of puts you in a good stead as you move into a Slayer.
It really does. Also, especially on this map, I think if it was a different Slayer on just about any other map in Infinite, Oxygen might have a little bit more confidence because they can hold forward a little bit faster, fly a little bit harder. Like we've talked about on Slayer Catalyst, it's a map that requires a little bit slower play, which, as we just learned, a little more strategic, methodical play. And as we just saw, that might lend itself into the hands of the Pioneers once again.
We'll have to see if Pioneers can take advantage, because as we know, in a best of 5, you got up by 2. You're all of a sudden just on the brink of qualification to pools in Orlando, and I think we're almost not adding enough weight to how important that is, right? Because as I say, World Championships is the event that follows Orlando, not just the prize pools and, you know, the glory of the major, but everything, the whole season is building towards the Halo World Championship. So getting into pool play is step 1 if you want to succeed and you want to place as high as possible in the money when it gets to Worlds.
It really is, and we should talk about these two teams. As we said, it's a very different story for them coming into this series, but it's also very different stakes for them, right? As we said, Oxygen, nothing to lose here, newly assembled in terms of their final team changes, and also no one really predicting them within the top 4 largely. Pioneers, completely different story, right? Everyone's like, can this roster get into the top 4? If Pioneers exits here relative to their expectations, it's a much bigger disappointment than if Oxygen were to exit here. So Pioneers definitely has that in the back of their mind, and it feels like they knew that in game number 1. So far, they're looking good.
Crazy thing as well is I look at teams like FaZe and Pioneers, right, where you're like, we know what to expect from Pioneers. They've made this change. They've picked up Nick from E United, who is going to add X, whatever it might be, to the lineup. And it's because there's a clear theory and a decision made because they want to achieve more, right? It's the same with FaZe. They make this big change, 2 new players coming in, monster roster on paper. an elimination bracket run could be the best thing possible for these teams in the long run. Obviously, they want to be in the upper side of the bracket. Obviously, they want to run their way through tournaments, but sometimes Halo's about reps. Halo's about patterns. Halo's about making good habits. For these teams, FaZe and Pioneers, who are making those runs through the elimination bracket, you're starting to see those patterns start to develop. The more games under their belt, the more dangerous they're going to be when we get into those later rounds.
That's right. The momentum is real. The question is, can the Pioneers continue the momentum they started in that game number 1? Welcome into game number 2. It's Pioneers versus Oxygen Esports. This is elimination round number 3 for a guaranteed top 8. Winner will continue on. The loser will go home.
What a slow start this is. The first kill of the game is going to come in from Druk. Taulek's going to back it up, so BoamX is going to have to back down, as there should be an overshield grab going into the hands of Pioneers, you would imagine. Maybe a grapple, or maybe it's just going to be Nick who goes, do you know what, no one else is going for it, I'm going to go and grab it. That's exactly what he does. A great start, and again, just a little bit of patience being shown here by Pioneers.
He also gets away with a lot of overshield. Ooh, it was a lot. It gets trimmed right down right away. It's a good counter. Nick only able to get a little bit of damage here. They actually lose SoulSnipe early.
So much damage being done by Nick, though. Where's the rest of Pioneers? They have to capitalize on this. It's 3 dead now for Oxygen, but it comes down to a 1v1. It comes down to a skewer, and it comes down to BoamX shutting down the entire roster here from Pioneers. An overkill to kick things off.
This game is 5-5, and Boam has 4 kills. That's a wild overkill to start things off.
4 kills in 8 seconds.
My God, and Pioneers up by 1. What an interesting start here. Boam had to step up in that 1v1. He does in a big way, and maybe that's the boost that the team needed to get back in the series.
Yeah, if anything, it certainly should be. I'm sure that BoamX is sitting there right now and thinking, get me back into an X1v1, because I want to fight anyone right now. The adrenaline's going to be pumping, but sometimes in a Slayer, you have to just get that back under control. And it looks like Pioneers have got the game back under control. A couple of kills going their way. They have a 3-kill advantage as Common will fall now, and a strong push now coming in on the gold side of the map as Pioneers look to capitalize on the damage done. It's Nemassist just holding his ground.
Yeah, nice double there from them. That was big. Keep the team close. 12-8 now. Pioneers slowly starting to eke away. Oxygen needs to make sure they don't let this game slip away. Difficult to mount comebacks on a map like this. Oh!
Taulek goes into orbit. Common decides he's going to take a nap, having seen that. 13-9 is the score. The overshield is going to be coming into the game in just a few moments' time as well. Oxygen Esports have lost 2, but they still have vision. However, that vision is going to be impaired as the spike grenades are going to absolutely shatter Common. He gets taken down as Nick grabs the overshield. Also got a grapple to play with as well, so it's time to go swinging if you're Nick on Pioneers.
Yeah, here comes Pioneers. The Bash brothers just flying in. They're going to get that damage. 17-10 now. And they are starting to run away with this lead. Looking very strong here as we get past the opening of the game.
Nick not only beating down the player as he came around that corner with the sword, but also just a little tap on the wall as well. He's just trying to sharpen up the knuckles next time he gets into one of those melee battles. But Nick at the moment is currently sat at 7-2. What a start that is for Nick. The perfect kind of stat line you want to see in a Slayer in a game number 2 in a game like this.
Also 31 kills on the board already. Triton yet to register 1. I've got to keep an eye on that on the Oxygen side. If he's able to get back into this game in a meaningful way, they could get themselves back into the score.
We've already seen 1 goose in the tournament so far. Triton's not going to want to be the second, and he's not going to be, as he adds that first kill, and probably the most valuable. As we all know, we've been in that position before in a Team Slayer game. Nick can now use the grapple to get a bit creative to get weapons in the hands of Pioneers. We've already seen BoamX put it to use with an overkill in this game. Let's see if Nick can hit some bodies, some feet, whatever it is. There's going to be limbs flying if he can connect with the skewer.
Even though Pioneers has looked very strong here, keep in mind. Oh boy! Double kill killing spree, no scope. Nick will close down on Triton with the skewer. Gonna look for maybe 1 or 2 more here. That one will not connect. Nick will somehow, no, stand corrected, he will not get away. That means 2 dead, and just like that, the game is within 4.
Overshield going to be coming up as well, so now it's interesting to see if Oxygen can maybe force a little bit of a comeback here. They haven't had an overshield. Both of the first 2 overshields have gone into the hands of Pioneers, and it's a 3-kill lead.
Big.
But this play from BoamX is going to open it up for Common to grab it. Now, what can they do with this? They've kept the game close without overshields. Now they have one. Common and Oxygen Esports have a chance to push and put the pressure back on.
They bring the game within 1 now, 24-23. Still 60% overshield left for Common. BoamX, by the way, 11-5, already tied up at 25. What a comeback here from Oxygen Esports.
So many plays have been coming in on the side of Pioneers. It felt like they were just getting set up to run away with the game, but now they're going to have to run away from Common because the Overshield player meets 3, gets so much information and damage down, but where is the rest of Oxygen? Pioneers survive for now. There's something up there that we should know about.
I think we just saw Druk take to the skies. Eventually he'll come back down to earth. Somehow still get away. He's gonna grapple again. He's doing it again. Oh my God, he almost gets away with it. Finally, Druk is taken down and examining the rafters.
Gets the Whiplash medal as well, and to be honest with the way my neck went up there, it's probably the most applicable medal they could have shown.
2-kill lead now for Oxygen off of great control, great composure, and a great comeback as they will continue control gold side.
Oh, send in the tank. That's going to be Nemassist, who's got the skewer in his hands. Druk's going to peek. Nemassist is going to rearrange some of the flooring. 2 kills the difference between the two teams at this point, though. Still extremely close, but it has been that overshield which has given the little advantage here to Oxygen Esports. A chance maybe for some more damage to be done, but now Nemassist changes his plan of cleaning up a couple of kills into staying alive and keeping the deaths down.
Really nice play from Nem. Notice how on the flag ramp he avoids the melee battle, wants to win it at all costs with the BR and not force the trade. It's a great play that will maintain a 2-kill lead for them.
BoamX picks up 1 as well, and now you can see the Pioneers desperate to push. They want to take advantage of these 2 players who are kind of trapped on the top of the base, but Taulek's going to get taken down as they will push them back, and Druk gets destroyed as well, tries to repulse back just to throw that angle off, and now Nick is last player alive, and it looks like the Overshield is going to go back over to Oxygen unless Nick can make a play on it.
Wow, Nick last player alive. You have to think maybe they could have isolated that as last player alive. Maybe they could have continued fighting that. Nick gets another one somehow. And just like that, still a 1-kill game. Overshield still down bottom middle. Druk's gonna get it.
And that is the importance of being the last player alive and surviving, right? Nick has just put it on display for everyone at home to see. When we're always talking about how you need to deal with the last player, that's why you're losing for a second, you lose the Overshield, and then you let the rest of the team back onto the map. Now it's a tie game, 35-35, and Druk, he makes it 36-35.
My God, the man they call KingNick stepping up. As we said, Oxygen needed to prioritize where is that last player. They did it up until the 30-point mark. Nick somehow gets away with killing the Overshield player, then getting a double, then paving the way for a Druk Overshield grab, and like that, Pioneers now slips into the lead once again. The new addition to the roster stepping up in the late game.
And I tell you what, there's a endorsement if ever you needed one. Druk throws it to Nick, the skewer, and that's why Nick is on fire at the moment in this game.
14-6 for KingNick. 10 assists. Leads his team in every single category across the board. What else can you ask for in the newcomer? Tie game here at 38.
Now the pressure on those shots starts to increase a little bit more. BoamX is trying to survive, but he's kind of just thrown himself into nowhere. A couple of kills go down in the favor of Pioneers once more, and it's a 1-kill advantage. They only need 10, but right behind them at the moment is Oxygen Esports. It's a 2-kill game here.
My God. Down to the wire here in the end. What looked like an early Pioneers win is now just a 1-kill lead in the late game. They've now mounted a little bit of a comeback themselves. We'll get ready for this next Overshield.
The Overshield is everything. Whoever gets this Overshield will probably win this game, and what a result that would be for Oxygen Esports. Nick is trying to pressurize these players to stop those lines of sight onto the Overshield. But has it worked? Has anyone been able to move in and get that OS for Pioneers, or has it just opened the door here for Oxygen to make a late run? It's Nemassist who gets it for Oxygen. Now they tie up the game, and they should be able to maybe create an opportunity to tie up the series.
Nick also taking damage in the back from a teammate there on the Spikers. Did not expect to see that, and that will...
They spotted him out.
43-42. Nemassist needs to make sure. 70% Overshield left. He needs to make a play off of this. Don't let it get melted, but of course, Nick comes in with the plasma pistol and removes the Overshield from the equation.
Nice Ovi, bro. Where did it go? Nemassist got spotted out by SoulSnipe, I think it was, and then you can see the green gun just stripping away the shields, and now Nick again in the kill feed, making the difference. The man is 17-8.
It's a nice Overshield. You gotta be a shame if somebody green gunned it. That's exactly what Nick comes in and does. 2-kill lead now, 45-43, and he's got the skewer in hand as well. He did miss.
Sorry, Nick. 2 kills though, need the difference though. Even with that Overshield, completely eliminated. There's still an opportunity here for Oxygen Esports, but Nick is just looking for blood at the moment. You can see him. He wants to be the player who steps forward. The door's being open. He knows that BoamX is there. A little bit of a bait. The angles were covered, but Nick will survive and keep the skewer in the hands of Pioneers.
Nick right now still with that Royal Flush. Most kills in the game, most assists in the game, and the least deaths across both teams as well. Putting the team on his back. Up by 2 here. 2 minutes left on the clock.
I mean, BoamX is playing with fire at the moment. Every time he peeks through that double door. And even though Nick's missed a couple here, you get the feeling when it matters. And he might just connect. Nemassist shreds the shields. Nick once again having an opportunity to get the kill, but now the next overshield is up. We thought the last one might be the end of the game, but it was eliminated. Now we're going to see another one. Nemassist taken down. Nick adds his 18th. Where's the overshield? It looks like SoulSnipe's made the move on it. A double kill here from Nick. Opens the door for Pioneers. They only need 2, and SoulSnipe has the OV.
It's a great play all across the board from Pioneers here. They're up by 3, 2 kills to go, 1:30 on the clock. They should be able to make a play off this overshield.
Big damage coming in here from SoulSnipe. Just needs to be supported. There is the support from the rest of the crew as Pioneers go up 2-0.
What a game there. Back and forth, and you thought Oxygen maybe going to take it as they started to get a 3-kill lead around the mid-game, but Pioneers said not so fast. That stripping of the overshield, you can't say enough about that. We'll take a look at the stats in just a moment because that was absolutely insane from Nick. He goes 19-9 with 11 assists.
With 11 assists as well.
As we said, leading in every category in the mid-game. He will end the game leading in every category as well.
There's 50 kills in a game of Slayer. Nick was involved in 30 of those kills. 19 kills, 11 assists. You can't ask for much more from a player, to be honest with you. And it was just a big moments as well. Towards the end, a couple of whiff shots with the skewer, but you're not going to hold it against a player who's already put 19 kills on the board. But, I mean, the man, there was maybe some questions being asked, right? Was it the right player to pick up after the poor play performance from Pioneers? In my mind, there was no doubt that Nick was going to be a good addition to this Pioneers roster. He's starting to think, just find that level of comfort with the team that you would like to see for him, and now he's being given the tools to express himself and really show what a player he is.
No one else even passing 4,800 damage. He's on 5,300 plus in that game, and the man who has many top 4 finishes this season, maybe that's what Pioneers needed to bring them into the top 4. Even though we're here in the elimination bracket, Pioneers looking very good.
Again, one thing that stands out to me in that game as well is Pioneer's ability, by the way, the BoamX overkill, love that. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more another time, but the ability to slow the game down. Pioneers don't do that. Haven't done that historically. But you can see they're willing to just take a few seconds just to set up, and that's been the difference, right? This play here from Nick, though, talk us through it, because this was a massive, massive indication of how important it is to eliminate that guy.
You cannot let the last player alive kill your overshield grabbing player, then get a double kill. He denies the overshield grab. He gets another kill on the back of the gold side, and after all of that, starts to go on a spree as well, while Druk grabs that overshield. When that game ends by 5, and that was a change of the lead, you have to think that's a huge play from Nick. And if you're Oxygen Esports, you once again cannot let that happen. We talked about it before the game. It has come down to game management, and Pioneers' last player alive has continually gotten away with murder, and they close out the first 2 games very comfortably as a result.
Now they have a chance to close out the series as well as we head over to live fight Strongholds, and this is kind of a playground for Pioneers, right? This is where they can play a little bit faster. This is where they can be a little bit more loose and really put the pressure back onto Oxygen Esports and try and close this out in a 3-0 manner, but also it's an opportunity for them to continue the good habits that they've been building, because we have seen a little bit of development in the meta game now where we're seeing teams hold a 2-cap until they get initial damage. Then they're starting to move forward. Then they're starting to capitalize on it. Then they look for that triple cap.
That's exactly right, and Pioneers also going to look to continue the momentum they've built already so well here in the elimination bracket. People were starting to ask questions about their pool play finish, and rightfully so, but maybe they're putting some of those questions to rest here in elimination round 3. Pioneers now 1 game away from the 3-0 clean sweep against Oxygen Esports.
Trust me, there's other teams in this elimination bracket at the moment who are probably watching this game and thinking, Pioneers are looking pretty good. They look like they're back on form, and they're looking like they're going to bring something to the table when we get into those later rounds if they can get through this next game against Oxygen Esports. But let's see what SoulSnipe is doing. A great game 1 for him, and he's also going to find a sniper rifle right at the start of this game.
Been so impressed with him. Just going to clamber back and forth to avoid any grenades coming in, and of course he's going to get damage right away as part of 2 battles here. Also going to get Triton down to no shields and probably even finish this one on pillars, if I'm honest. That's very comfortable. They're just going to retreat safely to sandbags.
Now they've got control of the ends of the map, and you can see that Taulek is just waiting for information at the moment, deciding where he has to rotate to. He's got a couple of players over at A. He's also gone over shield, so now that he's got the information on where players are, he can charge down these last couple of players from Oxygen Esports, holds that tower, and also keeps control of those weapons.
Taulek going to push off of this damage, no doubt, and challenge this with that overshield. That's going to give him a lot of room, and that's exactly what we've been seeing Pioneers do all series, is simply creating room, creating space for them to succeed.
Now they're pushing for the triple gap as well, and Triton, unfortunately, you're meeting Taulek, and he's got an overshield. Another one here for Taulek as the help comes in from Pioneers. Nemassist, the first off the respawn, and a lonely respawn as well, because the rest of his teammates are still in that death screen. It is a triple cap, and it is being the kind of triple cap which is just squeezing the life out of Oxygen right now. They're already on 70 points here, Pioneers.
I mean, Taulek flies into A, wondering, is anybody here? No one was even there, right? He's wondering, do I need to even lock this area down? Then Oxygen, without even a chance to push out, already just like that, it's 80-4.
Druk eliminated though by Triton, the double push coming in, resulting in a double kill. Now they turn their attention to converting one of these strongholds. SoulSnipe tries to get the stick on his way down to the grave, but won't be able to do so, and this is a good answer back now from Oxygen. They got control of C off their respawn. Now they've been able to force B away from the hands of Pioneers, and this is where you need to see Pioneers change that gear a little bit.
Certainly, and of course they didn't catch it yesterday. Oxygen Esports taking down FaZe in the game number 5 in pool play, and that really put them on the map in a big way in this tournament, but now a lot of work ahead of them. As Common is your last player alive, 3 dead. Nick will also grab the overshield, and if you're a player on Oxygen, after that last game, that's the last thing you want to see.
Look at the pressure that Nick is putting on these respawners as well. Both BoamX and Triton have rejoined the game, and they've gone, I thought that Spartans spawned with shields, because they have just been run at by Nick, who's now forcing the triple cap once more. It's A, B, and C, all dressed in red for now as Pioneers cross the 100-point threshold.
Pioneers have plans. They probably also have dinner plans based on the way that they're playing here, because they're ready to end this series very, very quickly. The triple cap does get interrupted for a moment, but Nick takes to the skies on the back ramp with a very nice 1v1 win against Boam in the back, and they will continue working on C as well.
4 dead once again for Oxygen Esports, and they'll be watching the same thing that we do right now. That's death screens, as Nick and Pioneers already move up the map. And this is the difference between what we saw from FaZe earlier, right? It was a little bit slower. Immediately off the back of the 3-4 dead, look at the pressure that Nick and Pioneers are putting onto these respawners.
Nick tries to do a lot of damage, and he does. 2v2 here. SoulSnipe almost gets the steal on A. Looks like a reset might be coming in for Boam. Yes, Druk's going to continue applying the pressure on it, though, and to be honest, they can get away with that. They will be 3 dead momentarily, but they're still scoring.
Still scoring, but they've turned over the sniper rifle, so Oxygen Esports can get a pick now. Maybe make a decision on where they want to push. A couple of players just rotating to back tower. Common got a lot of pressure on his shoulders at the moment, as if he misses a shot, he's going to turn not only weapons over, but maybe a stronghold as well. It looks like they're going to lose A here. They're trying to flip C, but this will be Pioneers back into the lead as Druk tries to thread the needle through the legs, trying to nutmeg his teammate to see if he can pick up a kill.
Oh boy, goes for the flashy one from Big Door as well. Druk going to maybe just stay alive. Does very well, not afraid to challenge yet again, and just tanking these grenades. Him and Taulek just somehow duoing hard. Eventually, though, they will fall off of a very good push from Common.
Yeah, Druk never afraid to challenge, but maybe should have been afraid to back down. Shouldn't have been afraid, excuse me, to back down in that situation and reposition to see if he could help out some teammates and get those shields back. You can see the idea, of course, wants to be aggressive, wants to make Oxygen Esports really pay, but sometimes you've got to think about that longer game. But for now, it's going to be the 3rd overshield in a row here, and it's very difficult to play against Pioneers here on light fire strongholds if you have normal shields, let alone when you give them 3 overs in a row.
SoulSnipe, last player alive. What can he do? Of course he hits the shot! Oh my god, what a series from this man. Hits the shot as the last player alive on C-Plat. He's 12-4 in this game.
He's called SoulSnipe, and I'm pretty sure he just took that player's soul with the sniper rifle, because that shot was absolutely disgusting. Now he's pushing in on Triton. He's got the help from Nick as well, and Pioneers are showing it's not just the teamwork that's working now. Pioneers individually looking superb, 10 points away. The triple cap's in effect. This is going to be the game.
Oh my god, we won't even have time to talk about what we just saw on screen. The clock will tick down. It has been Pioneers all day, all series, and they will close it out with a very convincing 250-22 in game number 3 and take the series with a final score of 3-0.
That was a dominating performance. No other word for it, right? It was just dominance across the board. Even that final moment, you think, Oxygen, hey, you might be able to get a kill. You got Souls, bang, dead. Get out of my way. Let me win the game. Let me move on in this elimination bracket because I've got games to play. I've got teams to beat. SoulSnipe again. Game 1 and 3 belong to him. Huge performances, but you could also say the rest of the team certainly backing him up in the stats department.
Rest of the team looks great. It's unbelievable. Of course, SoulSnipe, you got to highlight those numbers, leading the way once again. If you've been sleeping on SoulSnipe, let this series be a lesson to you. The man was on fire, but as you say, the entire team looking so dominant in that series. Look at the numbers across the board. Most important, look at the score on the left, 250 to 22 in the end.
And how fast did they play it? And how quickly were they able to press those advantages in that game? That's what you need to do on live fire Strongholds. Get the numbers, make sure that you're putting the pressure on the respawners. If you can get split spawns, you got weapons, you're gonna have a very good time. Looking at the damage across the board, take your pick from Pioneers, but the leader, of course, is gonna be SoulSnipe.
Yeah, great stuff. And fantastic highlight reel of the series from SoulSnipe and the entire team. Pioneers looking so good, and with that win, of course, they will secure top 8 as well as pool play for Orlando.
Which is massive, right? This is massive. Pool play did not go their way yesterday. Today they look like a different team. Reps. That's what you need as a new lineup. That result there, also the variance of game styles and the way they played, the control they showed in Oddball, the big plays they made, and the ability to control the pace of the game in game number 2, spot on. Game number 3 was Pioneers at their best, right? 250 to 22, fast, relentless, and just devastating.
And let's not forget, Pioneers is the team that's used to being the underdog, right? All year long, they're starting to get top 12, then they got top 8, right? Then they start to break top 6. Everyone's still doubting them. I think they thrive off of that, and they're saying, hey, we're ready to make a loser's bracket run. We might have had a less than stellar pool play day, but they are ready to continue on here and ride that momentum in a big way.